Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Pick Show. I'm your host, Megruer31. And what a great day yesterday. Holy cow. Cleared a grand overall between day baseball, where I had the Boston lefties, and the New York. Ended up on the catcher for the Yankees. Left some money on the table, worked out really well. The night slate, I had the right Dodgers. I had a lot of Outman and the Pittsburgh bats I talked about in the middle of the lineup too. Joe had a home run and Swisky had a home run. I was at the top of the leaderboard for a while there until I didn't take anything down because I had a little bit too much Senga, a little too much Phillies in certain lineups. But I did Contreras from Pittsburgh did really well. Didn't have Feltner in any lineup because I had a lot of Phillies, but I did have a lot of the Phillies pitcher to decent, and also the Reds pitcher. I paired some of those in that game also. But really good night. Had a share of a takedown in NBA Showdown for Golden State Kings game. So very good night overall. So let's keep the momentum going. A little bit harder slate today, 12 games. Might be 10 games because a couple weather issues out there, but let's fly through it and break everything down. So starting out, Colorado and Philadelphia, Noah Davis and Aaron Nola. Noah Davis should be a no, but my goodness, like the Phillies were in a great spot last night and laid a complete egg. They're leaving so many guys on base, and just not putting up runs. But Noah Davis has really just been like a single A, double A pitcher. He's had a cup of coffee or two in AAA in the major leagues. So nothing special about him. So I'm not interested in playing him. And no Aaron Nola on the other side. This should be a good get right matchup, but it's baseball, and anything from last night, Noah Davis is going to go out and throw a complete game shutout, and Nola is going to give up 8 runs in the first inning. Probably not going to happen, but I don't know, just skeptical. So I think Nola's in play, but 9-4 is like a bunch of pitchers I like better than him. Davis I'm not touching. Philly, I have a GPP lineup, and Colorado leverage against Nola. I mean, if they figure out how to hit, they just haven't been hitting in Coors. They haven't been hitting at all, but they, put together a few hits and runs last night. So we'll see what happens. So not a ton of interest in this game. I'll probably have one Philly stack in $1 just in case they put it together, because we have seen them score like 14 runs recently. So see what happens there. Toronto and the Yankees, wind blowing in at 9 miles per hour, 62 degrees. Kikuchi and German, both these pitchers have pitched well and have pitched horrible this season. Like Kikuchi had I targeted him last game out and he had a gem. So like what's going to happen? I don't know. So not really interested in Kikuchi at all. German, same thing. I want to wait and see a little bit more consistency here with them. Bat-wise, Toronto, I think it's a decent GPP stack. And Yankees, I think, have my top stack on the slate. I just saw how well they've, even with some of the stars out that are hitting. Volpe's starting to figure out the top of the lineup. He's got some speed. Judge is Judge, and Rizzo are good. Torres has been solid, and LeMahieu has been hitting very consistently in the 5th spot, even driving in runs. So mix in some of these bottom of the lineup guys like IKF on the bottom, like as a wraparound is decent. It's got some speed and hits pretty well for contact. So the top stack for me today, probably most people will disagree, but just some of the other stacks are just hard to get in, and the Yankees are even too if you want to play Ohtani as pitcher. So I'll let you decide, and I will talk more about that when we get to the actual lineup builds. So Detroit and Baltimore. Lorenzen and Wells, not interested in Lorenzen. Wells on the other side. I mean, it's Detroit. Hasn't had like great stuff this year, but I think it's definitely in play if you need you're playing multi-entry and you need to pay down for somebody. Detroit bats against him, they're cheap, and I think they definitely help you get some of these higher price stacks in. So I will have some Detroit bats, especially some lefties that they throw out the top. Matten doesn't have like power, but he's got speed and good contact hitter. Riley Green and Carpenter are good. So definitely in play to fill in on your stack. And Baltimore on the other side, I think, is my third favorite stack here. Really like them. They're expensive though, like Mullins, Rushman, Mountcastle. Santander is not bad. Frazier, if you can get him in a second base, is not bad there. Also, maybe even Farvera, if you need like a wraparound guy at like 2K, is in play there also. Next game, we have the Marlins in Cleveland. I don't think this game's going to play. It looks like 70-80% chance of rain. If it does play, Garrett and Plesac not interested in either pitcher, not interested in either offense here. So I'm just going to cross this game off and move on. Houston and Atlanta, you've got two decent offenses here. So you have Hunter Brown, great prospect. Good guy got good control, is ground ball guy, doesn't give up many home runs. Elder on the other side is another good up and coming pitcher. Brown's just so expensive. It's going to be hard to play at 9.8. So again, I think he's going to be very low owned. He's probably my fourth favorite high priced guy. Just like Nola below him, just is such a question mark, but Nola's got a much better matchup. And then Elder on the other side against Houston. Houston has struggled at times, but they have put it together. So I think he's in the mid range for probably fourth in my mid range. So both these guys are fourth in the range. And the offenses too, I just have them as Houston I like a little bit more against Elder, but I really like or Atlanta would just be like a leverage stack against Brown. So again, this game's on the slate, probably not going here for anything. So I'm just going to kind of move on. A's in Texas, JP Sears and Gray. JP Sears, a tough matchup. Texas has been putting up some runs. They almost have 5 total on slate, so not interested in him. Gray got hit by a pitch last time, I think. He did some throwing. He seems to be okay, so should be able to go out there, and probably my third favorite pitcher on the slate, and a good discount from the top two guys in Ohtani and Peralta. So, if you definitely want to play him, I definitely don't struggle with that. Bat wise, Oakland not interested. I mean, they're cheap pieces that you can throw in there, but Gray and Texas on the other side against Sears. I really like these bats. They're expensive though, so they're my favorite GPP stack. Simeon Duran, if he makes or Jankowski, whoever bats, Jankowski probably won't because he'll be lefty and lefty, but Duran outfield shortstop eligibility, batting second at 2.1 is decent. Garcia, Young, Jaime at catcher, even like Grossman, Tavares, or Thompson, if you need to take one of these 2K guys to finish off your lineup as a flyer, they're probably going to get you like 5 to 7 points, but if the stack does go off and they can get on base of some of the heavy hitters at the top of the lineup, able to drive them in, then it's worthwhile. Red Sox and Brewers in Milwaukee. Pivetta at Peralta. Pivetta, I think, is in play here because Milwaukee just hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire. They have a decent record and have been putting up runs, but not consistently. And Pivetta's not horrible, not great. So another person in the mid-range that you can consider in your lineup is probably an SP2. And then Peralta, I think, can definitely be an SP1. Like Boston, again, did look decent yesterday, but it was in Fenway with some wind. If you want to play some of the lefties here against Peralta and as a leverage stack, I'm fine with that, but I don't think I like them for any other reason. And they only have a 3.65 total. Milwaukee on the other side too. Again, I think it's just a GPP stack here against Pivetta, Yelich, Winkler. Adames can hit both sides. Tellis might be a decent one off at first base for 4K. And then I don't even know if I can get a full stack out of them here. I mean, maybe if Blake Perkins makes the lineup and you want to put him in as a switch hitter at 2K for a wraparound thing, potentially for a full stack, but probably if I play Milwaukee, it's only going to be like 4 guys. Nationals and Twins, supposed to snow for this game. So Williams and Male, I'd be interested in if this game does play with the condition. It'd be horrible. Not touching any hitters in this one. Again, I think it's just another cross-off game. Although it does look like the wind's going to be blowing out at 13 miles per hour. Again, it's only the temperatures are supposed to be in the low 30s. It's just not going to be a pleasant environment for baseball, and I don't think they're going to play it. But if they do play it again, Male is the only thing that I'd be interested in. Kansas City and the Los Angeles Angels here. You have Tyler Clark coming as an opener to face as a righty to face the right-handed batters at the top of the lineup, and then Ryan Yarbrough's coming in as the lefty. Don't want either one of them. Ohtani on the other side is probably the top pitcher on the slate against Kansas City. Great matchup. No, he didn't go too deep last game, but it was a rain game in Boston, and they had like a delay in the middle of the game, so he's probably fresher than if he was out there throwing like 120 pitches the time before. So love Ohtani in the spot. Hard to get up to, but I'm going to make it work because I want the floor that he offers here in this matchup. Bat-wise, Kansas City against them is just probably the ultimate leverage stack, but I'm not going to probably be playing much of them. If you want to throw one stack in like $1, if you're doing 150 max, that's fine. And Angels on the other side, they'd be the second top stack, but they're just too expensive here, and you don't get Ohtani as a bat because he's pitching. So it's just so hard to get like Ward and Trout and Rendon and Renfroe in there in the bottom half of this lineup. Hopi, oh my goodness, I love that guy. He's a great catcher. He hurt his shoulder and a hit, so he's probably not going to be fastest. It's probably being. I hope he's okay. I hope he's not on the IL or something major. If it is, it's something like short term, like just a 10-day thing, maybe a sprain. But it didn't look good in the game, so I feel so bad for that young guy because he is having such an amazing. He and Sabel are like my catchers. I just absolutely love this season, and again, I hope all's well for him. Padres and Diamondbacks, finally, Fernando Tatis is priced reasonably at 5.1, not 2K like yesterday. You have Lugo and Gallen. Lugo I like here. Arizona can be pesky and can hit pretty well. They play small ball. It seems like manufacturer. They have a little bit of pop. And that's why I stack them every day with Cleveland. Although if the Cleveland game doesn't play today, I might have to throw Baltimore or something else in with them. But Lugo, I think there's just like I've seen some good stuff here, and I think definitely one of my favorite pitchers in the medium range. Gallen on the other side at 9.6 against the San Diego lineup. I know they haven't been great. I know Machado has looked horrible. I know the bottom of this lineup has not looked great. So you really only worry about like Tatis, Soto, Cronenworth, and Carpenter. But at 9.6, with the roof open, it's like 80 to 90 degrees out there, great hitting conditions. I'm not interested in Gallen in this spot. San Diego Bats, I think, would be my 4th favorite. Again, I know Machado struggled, but I think you can get enough of Tatis, Soto, Bogarts, and Cronenworth there for at least a 4-man stack. In Arizona, like they're pretty cheap here. They're all in the 4Ks. Like there's 3K guys that you can mix in, especially if you go like the middle lineup. And Moreno as a catcher at 2.4 is another guy that I really like this season to play as a cheap guy. So I got for that game. Cardinals in Seattle. Seattle actually has really kind of struggled with left-handed pitching this year for some reason, which is strange because they're like a solid right lineup. So I think Matz is definitely in play here. And Kirby on the other side is a decent play also. So either one I think you can play, but I think I like Matz if you're trying to save some money as a cheap SP2 at 7.3. And Kirby at 8.9. I like him here, but just the St. Louis lefties can sometimes be pretty tricky. So and I realized why St. Louis not on the board here for bats. Interesting. So anyways, Seattle, I would put down here against Mats, and let's just put like St. Louis in the same. It's definitely in the GPP range. I probably maybe like them better than Toronto, but still they're on the GPP list. We'll just go for that. And like I said, Mets decent pitcher here. Kirby is also probably in play. The Bats GPP. So again, this is probably just another one of those multi-entry games. Nothing special that I'm looking for like cash or fill-in. So I'm going to move on to the last game. Mets in San Francisco. Lucchese's and DeSclafani. Lucchese's, I believe he had Tommy John surgery. He's been out for like over a year, but he's been back in AAA in Syracuse playing for their team, and he's been decent. He's been going like 5 innings. He's got some strikeouts. He's given up some runs and walks, but nothing like too atrocious. So, and San Francisco has really struggled against left-handed pitching. Like they throw some of the righties out there, but they just aren't as good. And some of the lefties in the lineup that are left are struggle against left-handed pitching too. And you're probably going to take my boy Seabull out because he is a lefty. So, probably see Bart as catcher there, and you might see some cheap pieces like Ramos out there or Ruff. DeSclafani on the other side, I think again is somebody in the medium range that if you don't trust Lugo against Arizona, the Mets do have some power and some decent lefties, but he's been decent for the season, so he's in the player pool. Nothing that I love, but in play. But I definitely like Lucchesi at like 5.4. Opens up a lot for you as an SP2 against San Francisco. Bat-wise, the Mets, I think, are probably the top leverage stack if DeSclafani is going to get some ownership here, especially like stacking lefties. Plus, I'd still throw like Alonso in there. We'll see if Marte's back in the lineup or not with his neck injury there. So maybe like Beatty moves up in the lineup with lefty righty matchup. We'll have to see how that plays out. And then San Francisco, you throw out there. I mean, they're cheap again. So if you want to get some of these right-handed bats against Lucchesi, if you don't think that he's going to be ready to go for the major league level, I think he's going to be fine. But if you need some cheap fill-ins for that works. So let's look at the lineups we built and get you on your way for a day. Ohtani, I'm taking the Yankees. They're expensive, so I got to fill it in with Detroit here. So Torkelson, Carpenter, Green, Matson, whoever works in the outfield, Torres, DeLemayhew, Judge, Volpe, if you can get in there. If you need to take a cheaper, if you take Baez or for shortstop, all depends on who your SP2 is. And candidates there again: Lugo, Mahe, Lucchesi's, Mats, you're going to need a cheaper one there. For FanDuel, same thing. Ohtani, Ruff fits at first base if he's in really cheap. Torres will be Judge and Detroit outfielders to fill in, and then figure out what your if you want DeLemayhew, if you want another cheaper Yankee to finish off your stack there. So GPP, taking Peralta here, probably Lucchesi's or another like cheap SP2. And then Baltimore and Texas. So Rushman, Mountcastle, Simeon, Young, Mullins. If is it Duran? That's a really cheap one. Yeah. If he's here for outfield or shortstop, you can put Gunnar Henderson in there. Also finish off your stack. Then there's a lot of cheap Texas guys to fill in the bottom, or Varia to make that work. And then same thing with FanDuel, Mats, Rushman or Mountcastle. It's hard to get both in. You can play the over in the utility if you can find some punts to go into outfield and shortstop. Simeon, Young, Mullins, and Garcia are the priority there. So that's what I got for you for the day. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. Hit me at MegaRotor31 on Twitter. Met some new people yesterday. Reach out to me there. It was good to have some good conversations with you. Appreciate that. these videos help you as always, you can please like our channel, subscribe to our channel, like the video, share with your friends. We keep on growing and growing, and it's all because of you. And we thank you so much for that. And finally, for more information on FSi DFS, you can check the description of the video. All the information is there, how to sign up for our Discord and to subscribe to our packages. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Good luck in your contest. I'll see you next time.